I come from a poor family, yeah, yeah. We ain't never had a lot, yeah, yeah, yeah. But the Lord been good to us, yeah, yeah. Now we riding on the top, yeah, yeah, yeah. I come from a poor family, yeah, yeah.
Good morning, guys. Welcome
Morning.
to The Boat, Builder of All Things podcast. My name is Ray, and you guys know who this
Richie
is.
Bro.
Yeah, Richie, and obviously there's someone next to us who I
this?
want you to introduce.
This is my beautiful queen, Tiffany Bro, wife of Richie Bro, owner, partner,
Quite the
vice
title.
president of All Things New, ATN in the house, interior designer, mother, grandma.
Keep it
Keep
coming.
going.
Keep it coming. Mother's Day is around the corner, and so
Yes,
is my
it-
birthday. Keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
We are in the house.
Well, Tiffany, we'd like to welcome you here on The Boat.
Thank you for having me.
And this is super cool because this is our very first guest.
You are-
What an honor and a privilege.
Yeah, you are in the boat.
In the boat. And so, guys, I just want to remind you, we're going to be talking about our three streams, which is faith, business, and
Construction. But we're going to flip that to be design today.
specifically for our special guests.
Thank
So,
you.
Tiffany in the house. So
Yeah.
yeah, our last question will be catered around design. Ray is going to have some questions for us, and we'll just answer them.
Yeah.
Try to educate our listeners.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Guys, we are on episode 4. This is episode 4.
Wow.
So it's rolling, guys. If you haven't yet, watch episode 3 and find out how Richie burned the house.
Oh boy.
So, guys, super good stuff on episode 3. But we're going to head into the first stream today, which is faith. So, first question is, as a Christian, what are some of the pressures, if any, that you face being in the business realm or business world? Yeah. So, what are the pressures as a Christian in the business realm?
That's a good one.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's a lot of pressure. I think the first one that comes to mind for me is expectation levels. You know, because the stereotype behind Christians is that think they're perfect, or they are supposed
People's
to.
idea of
People's
Christian.
idea of
Yeah.
a Christian is like, you know, they have this different standard, which they do, and they want to live by, but we're not perfect
Right.
at
Right.
all. I
Far
think
from
sometimes there are people that aren't Christians that are better than me.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, just
Yeah.
keeping it real and true, you know, but I think there is a pressure around that, you know, because the expectations are higher, which I think me and my personality, I don't mind the pressure because it kind of pushes me to be a better person. But
Right, right.
I think what happens in that mentality is when you do fail, it hurts more. So, you know, being competitive, being in the sports world, my beginning part of my life, I always want to win.
Yeah.
I always want to be the best. I always want to do these things. And when you
He's
get,
like that.
Is this something you know? Is this something you?
He hates failing. He hates failing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 100% true.
it's a great place to be as a business owner and for clients, because, you know, you have this team and these leaders that don't want to fail. So they want to do everything they can to succeed and be the best and finish projects awesome. You know, so there's always that fight to be the best. But being a Christian, you know, I think we always are going to struggle thinking that we have to earn God's love, right?
Right.
And
right.
always need to kind of live up to the standard, you know,
Yeah.
but that's not what grace is, you know. And as business owners, yes, the pressure is there, but we find ways as Christians to know that we are going to make mistakes, even as just regular people in the business. And even though we're fighting for integrity, there are things, I mean, we've been in situations, and Tiffany can share, where, you know, we've had the IRS at our door. Not that we
Yeah.
don't want to pay our taxes, but we've learned, as you're growing as a company and your revenue starts growing, we don't
Yeah.
know any better, but there's different
Because
brackets.
we're growing.
Because we're
They're literally at your door. They
yes,
came.
yes,
Literally.
Tiff,
literally.
can you kind of talk about that real quick?
Yeah, so IRS.
Well,
Go
before
ahead.
you start, I want to share why they came to the door.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Let's set straight, guys.
Well, it's important for business owners, I think, to know this, is if you're growing in certain revenue brackets. So we were paying our taxes. All your taxes can be paid within a year at a certain revenue bracket. But then when you make a certain amount of money, then you have to pay it every 6 months. And then when you start making another bracket, now you got to pay it every month.
Oh, wow.
So we didn't know we were hitting these brackets,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden we need to pay it every month when we
Yeah.
thought we were on the biannual.
Right.
And so IRS came to the door. It's like, hey, you're supposed to be paying this every month, and we're like, huh?
We're
was
new
that?
at this. We're new at this.
So-
Yeah.
So what was that experience like?
Scary. I mean, I just, this was my first experience ever with IRS, and this lady comes in and she's just like stone faced. Like I'm trying to, when I get nervous, I like to joke. I don't know why. It's like kind of like Chandler from Friends. And so I'm like throwing jokes at her, and she's just like, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's not laughing. I don't know what to
And
do.
she's calling me to be her savior, like calling, and I'm not available.
Not at all. So I have to like wear my big girl underwear and try to figure this out. So this lady, she's literally like, she planted her behind on a chair and she was not moving until she got the information that she needed.
Yeah.
So that was really scary for me, because she's just like, if you don't do this, you have she gave me a time. We're gonna shut everything down. Yeah, we're gonna shut everything down. We're gonna levy your accounts.
Yeah.
And so to think that everything that we have been building, and everyone who's working for us, all of our clients, that this might possibly come to a halt because of something unexpected like this.
That must put an amount of stress for a business owner.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is. It is.
Huge.
Well, thankfully, we had the money. I mean, knowing it was a surprise amount, it wasn't ideal to pay that amount at that
Sure.
moment, but we had to trust God, because after paying that, we were in a place where like thinking, well, what will we do? Okay, yeah, we have the money, but if we pay that, now we're kind of in a place we didn't plan to be, right? So I think scripturally, I would like to share where we have our faith of being on the boat is Matthew 10:17. We have a picture on the back door of our the entry door into our executive office, just to remind us. There's a picture of a fish, and there's a coin in his mouth with a hand grabbing it. And what that is, it's a story of the disciples asking Jesus, how do we, or are we to pay taxes as Christians?
Yeah.
Because they were walking through the town, and people were collecting, and they're coming up getting ready to ask them, and Jesus said, yeah, I mean, paraphrasing, but he said, yeah, we got to pay our taxes, man.
Right.
And the disciples like, well, we ain't working, we just walking around with you. Like, how are we gonna pay these? Like, and he said, go over to this body of water, there'll be a fish, and grab some money. They'll be there in the mouth. Yeah, and they're like probably thinking this dude is crazy, but they obeyed. They went over there, opened the mouth of the fish, they just reached in, grabbed it, and there was a coin there. So the relevance of that for us is knowing, yeah, we had to pay this big amount that was unexpected, right? And then what are we going to do? Like, the initial thought as a human is, what can we do not to pay it right now? Because we got to use this money for other things, right? So that's the first initial thought that comes to your head. But taking that leap of faith, I remember we're sitting there and we both were just like, pay it.
Yeah.
Because it's the integrity thing to do. It's the right thing to do at the moment to do it.
Right.
So we just paid the big chunk that was unexpected. You're talking maybe 6 months worth. Because we thought, or no, it probably wasn't that much, but it was getting close to. And it was like every month plus.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just the 6 months worth. It was every month plus interest and penalties.
The penalties.
And the penalties are like 20-30%. So you can imagine. It was like, that's what we said. Jeez.
It was like your first.
But you remember what the guy said when we gave him the check?
What did he say?
Are you guys gonna pay all of this?
Yeah, he's like, usually people pay
IRS,
monthly. Like,
somebody else came.
oh yeah, and I said, and that's when I told him, look at that picture on the door. Yeah, that's
that's
right.
crazy.
I had him turn around and look at the door.
He was blown away. He was like, "You guys gonna pay all of this? Like this whole amount?" He said, "Yeah, we're gonna pay it.
Pay it right now." Because
And
we know that the coin is there.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to taxes, because that was like specific.
He was blown away.
Yeah.
Did they know you guys were Christians?
I think he knew after that.
Yeah, after that he knew.
Because I was gonna say, like, this is it's such a, how we have the the world has a perspective of Christians and this expectation. I was like, you're kind of breaking that stereotype, because now you guys are living up to that standard that God has called you to be. And so it's super cool when someone can experience that. They're like, oh, these guys, like, that's crazy, these guys can do it. And these guys, and for me it kind of seems like, oh, there might be a like, oh, like, how did they do that, or kind of questions. You're planting seeds to kind of break this stereotype of, or this mentality, I guess, from the other non-Christians, I guess, or in the business.
Yeah, and there's a lot of situations, even in the field, and probably I was experiencing in the office where installations are a certain way, and or how things, some of the workers are talking, and we can't control the whole process completely, and we don't want to micromanage it to on a micro level that far, but we do have a culture that we push to be at a certain level. But when people find out we're Christians, they expect certain things, and we want to live up to that as much as we can. Obviously that's our goal, is to shine a light of being something new in the business world. But learning that we are going to fail. There are times that the roller coaster ride might have to stop for a quick repair, or certain situations. So we just want to do everything we can in our power, just like that IRS moment, to say, hey, we're going to step out in faith and trust and just be who we are, and let the chips fall where they may. But we believe we're on a boat, right? And the boat is on the stream, and it's going to continue going to the destination. So it's just having fun, faith and trust.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So that's going to be that for our faith stream. We're going to head on to our business question.
Yeah.
So research and streams, guys. Who are the most valuable clients, and who are the most costly?
Costly.
See the smiles, guy.
Costly.
I would like to say, who are most valuable clients?
Let's start off with the valuable
costly
clients. Yeah.
So I like to say they're all valuable, but there are some that are costly. You are right, and it's hard to say that when I know homeowners are listening. I want to say we love you, all of you. We serve all of you the same, but for us, there are some areas, right, that can be costly, and I would love to manage your expectations to kind of, as homeowners, maybe help you, and this will help business owners too, I think. But the valuable ones to us are the ones that can trust us. And I think the ones that become costly are the ones that don't trust us from the beginning and try to jump in and take control of the situation. And that can be very costly. I think Tiffany witnesses that with emails that come in because the homeowner is complaining or has a complaint, which we want to hear, and we want to serve those complaints and understand them. But the ones we notice that are costly are those that got their hands in at the beginning because they don't trust the system. And that's the thing, is we have a system and a process in place. So if you pull it out of its order, we're try to manage it yourself from the beginning, it's like it goes off course. So we have to do everything we can to kind of play your game, play your management process. But if you're not you don't have all this, like, we plan for months for projects, like we plan for months. We have everything in place. We have a plumber coming in the third week on a Thursday. That's very specific. 3 weeks later on a Thursday. So yes, the order of the way we do things, we have what's called milestones. So a milestone for us are certain subs need to come in. We may have a schedule painted for 3 weeks, but some of those we might not get to. But when we get to that third week on a Thursday, we need the plumber to come in. So we have to do everything we got to do to prepare for that. But if the homeowner wants to come in and certain things they want done first, because I think they're just not trusting, right? It's hard. And one thing I want to say is, and I think we both can share, is we understand that feeling of having your home torn apart. And
having to have put such a substantial amount forward that someone else, depending on someone else to do this thing that you want to see created in your home.
So we do understand the position of homeowners, knowing it's a kind of a, not a panic state, but it's kind of a I think when we renovate our home, it's a little stressful, right? When you can't live your normal routine, things are torn apart. Things are wires are hanging.
Yeah.
Wondering, is that safe or not? And of course, we have it either turned off or we have something covering those so you don't get shocked. But there's so many things to educate. And it's like, to summarize it, I would say it's kind of like a sausage being made, right? If you watch a sausage being made, you might not want to eat it.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to eat sausages anymore.
So sometimes it's better just to let us do what we do. I know some homeowners want to be educated on the process, and we love doing that, but that can be costly as well, spending 2 or 3 hours just explaining and educating. And I get it, and it's a nice feature, but there's a cost for every second. Every second. If a guy's standing there talking for 30 minutes, we just paid $35. And if he did it for five days, then we paid that. And so we got to be very mindful who does the talking. We have that. We have a person that's there for you 24/7 for support called a project manager, and they should be doing the talking. So we have our process in place, but we don't want to be the bad guy either, right? And I think that's where it becomes costly, is when we want to hear, listen, and be there for you through the project. That could be costly. And so we don't want to tell you, don't talk to us. We don't want to tell you, don't come in, or that's per contract. And we don't want to be that person. And so we try not to be, and that could be costly as well. So I think for us to answer that question, the most valuable clients to us are the ones that can trust us. But I think it's our part, in a business owner, all business owners, it's your part to build that trust from the beginning, because they have that right not to trust us, right? Do you agree, Tiffany?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they have that right, because it's their money, it's a service. There's a bad rep out there for contractors.
Yes.
Very bad rep. So I think as homeowners, what we've done to hopefully build value is we have established ourselves. So what does that mean? We have a location, a home you can come knock on the door and come talk to us if you need to. We're a place, we're established. So you don't have to panic about, we're not going to run with your money. We're not going anywhere. We have 3 locations, so you can knock on our door. So as homeowners, make sure your company you're working with is established. Don't go to Craigslist. Stay away from finding weekend help, because weekend help is not a guarantee. Contractors, the whole point of the word contractor is to contract you to keep you in this realm of, you're going to serve this project, right? And so contracts are important. So being established, I think online presence, being licensed, all these things is our responsibility as a company to build trust in the homeowner. And in the homeowner, when we start the project, hopefully all these things will you can do this and let your hands open and just let go and let us take care of it. Right. And we have the history. Yeah. We have not failed one project. We have completed all of them. They're all,
even the most difficult.
Yeah, we will complete it. We will not stop. And if there's anything that's even open now to date, we are still serving that client. If there's a punch list, we're not ever going to give up on them. So our history speaks for itself, builds the trust. And that's, to me, the answer to a valuable client. And the costly ones.
Yeah. So homeowners, just the one thing to look for is a company that's established. And so what Richie just mentioned, such as, having online presence, having a physical location, these are things to look for when you're finding, and I guess that could be another topic, looking for a contractor, right? Whether they're good or what are good questions to ask yourself. Yeah. All right, awesome. So we're gonna head into our third stream, which is not construction but design, specifically tailored for our special guest, Tiffany. So our design question, Tiffany, is why is design important when considering a renovation?
It's a great question, guys. Design can make or break your home. We're talking about the flow of your home. We're talking about how you're going to feel in the space. So you can't just have any old Joe Schmo or Uncle Bobo, as we would say.
Uncle Bobo.
Where is he anyway?
He's working on a house in Manila right now.
Okay.
He starts at 4 a.m. and finishes at 6 a.m.
Just a hard
Yeah,
worker.
so if you hire Uncle Bobo, you're gonna get an Uncle Bobo home. So it's really important, and it's hard. Some people want to try and do it on their own, and we get that. But it's super important because when we talk about the flow of a home, anywhere from the placement of a refrigerator, your sink, your stove, the functionality of moving in your space. I mean, it's something that needs to be really thought out.
How can it break a home? You said make or break a
Oh
home.
man, can you imagine if somebody I don't see this happening, but putting the refrigerator in the wrong spot, putting
Oh, yeah, because a refrigerator is pretty bulky.
Yeah.
I've actually seen some designs where the island was too close to so the fridge, they bought the deepest fridge they could, but didn't tell anybody.
Did they not measure? I mean,
No, sometimes homeowners get excited and they just
Gotcha.
go purchase, and they
I can
don't
see that. I
So
can see that. Yeah,
in our beginning days, we learn now to tell them, don't just go purchasing any appliance.
Yeah.
Right, right.
But I've seen a real bulky fridge get purchased, so it's literally sticking out of the fridge panel built out like 6 inches, and so the island was placed too close.
So when you open
It was 36 inches away, which is the minimal you'd want, but
Right.
because it's sticking out 6 inches, and now if you open one door, it's kind of like, oh no.
man. And that's what you talk about when you talk about flow,
Yes,
right?
yes,
It's like
yes.
and kind of like the path where you walk to.
Exactly.
Right,
Think
right.
about how you're going to be interacting, what things you like to do with your family. Do you have children? Are these children going to be running through your home? Do you like to entertain?
Yeah, functionality is
Yeah.
flow and functionality
Yeah.
is so important. Door swings,
Door swings is another one I thought about. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
light
yeah.
switches, going where they need to go. Because you got to think about when you open the door, where would you naturally, we don't think about as homeowners, but light switches are
Gotta think about
planned
it, yeah.
in a certain place. So when you
Yeah.
walk and how the door swings, what if the light switch was on the opposite side and you're opening the
Right,
door? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, you got to walk around the door just to turn on the light.
I know the flow. You brought up a good topic, which is flow, and you mentioned, Tiff, that do you have kids and do you have this and that, and you're thinking about lifestyle, right?
Exactly.
And so I think
Yeah.
these are one of the things that people don't realize, because when I before I got into with you guys at ATN, I just thought about design as things that look, and how they place.
That's the other half of it.
Yeah.
right, and but the
Yeah.
other half I didn't think about, which
Yeah.
is flow and
Yeah.
how how you live in the house, right? What are some problems do you think that people don't realize that they have, and that they just go in, like you said, people do DIY stuff, and there's a lot of information out there, but coming from a design aspect, and you've been in design and you do design, that's what you do. Like, what are some problems that people, a common problem you think, off the top of your head?
I think as far as designers go, or the homeowners.
Oh, homeowners. I'm sorry, homeowners in renovation. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's actually thinking about the lifestyle that you're going to lead. Like I said, that's one of the important things that you need to talk about with the homeowner is to find out, ask those very important questions,
Yeah.
because if you're not taking those things into consideration for the children, for example,
Right.
Pets,
Yeah,
things like
pets,
that.
yeah.
You're going to miss, and you could potentially create some areas of danger for the children.
Right.
So that's where the flow, taking into consideration of the lifestyle, is super important. Yeah. Most times, homeowners are going to be aware of that, but
Sure.
the communication between the designer and the homeowner is very important to establish those things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've even in little things like paint sheen, there are recommendations per
Cleaning.
space, but when you have kids, maybe you want to up the sheen to semi-gloss or to a satin
Versus
versus
a
an
flat.
eggshell
Oh, yeah.
or a flat
Is
on
there a
the
reason
walls.
why?
It's easier to clean.
See,
Yeah.
these are I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then vinyl floor versus carpet, or there's certain LVP versus carpet. There's certain things you want to think about your lifestyle, right?
Well, yeah. For example, like our home, our areas that are commonly used, we have the vinyl flooring in, but I wanted to keep the carpet in the bedrooms because of the kids. You know, they're always playing, they can fall down,
Hit their head.
conk their
Yeah,
coconut,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So you want to make sure that you are mindful of those things. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, can you share a little bit of why the aesthetics are important, or if there's an importance
Super important.
in the way it looks?
Well, for me, okay, so I always talk about the way you feel in a space, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's super important because you're living in this space, right?
Yes.
You're going to come home after a long day of work, could have been
Yes.
super stressful, and you don't want to feel like you're still stifled, you know,
Yeah.
or if it's super dark, you're gonna feel that way. So you want to have a space that can reflect peace and serenity, and or if you're an eccentric kind of person, the colors that you put up make you feel a certain way.
Yes,
So
yeah.
it's the aesthetics. What was your question?
Aesthetics.
Yeah, the
But-
way things
yeah,
look,
why-
colors and selections like that is really important. I like to put plants in my space because of the life. It cleans the air. It's so dual purpose, you know.
Yeah.
But it makes you feel peaceful. People don't realize that having the green, the color green is actually, it makes you feel serene. Did you know that? Red makes you feel hungry. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I'm learning something
These
new.
colors have
No wonder I'm so
blue.
hungry all the time. 'Cause I'm Milwaukee. My tools is red, so I'm just working with Milwaukee
Just
all day.
stimulating colors.
And
Yeah.
I'm getting hungry.
But yeah, when we were choosing pieces for our place, I told my wife, I was like, if this piece is gonna make you feel some type of way after, like you mentioned, coming home from a long day, you're stressed out, you know, you've run so many errands and you just want to come home. The first thing you see when you walk in, it matters, right? Tiff?
It's huge. It's huge. Yeah, because this is kind of off the topic of colors and things like that, but it's like, so for me, it's clutter. So when I come home after a long day, if I see clutter, I feel like just stressed out.
Something clear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if it's just everything is clear, the space is beautiful, then I feel at ease. I feel
Yeah.
at ease.
And
yeah.
I think that really is Tiffany's. If she were to like, whoa, what is Tiffany's style? She's very minimalistic, but she likes to express herself as she's open to a lot of different designs. She's not just one area. But if I were to say from an outside source, what is her design? I think it's creating a place of peace. And I say that because with our lifestyles, being business owners, being parents, being grandparents, we feel that we've had to create our space to have a place you can kind of feel like you're at home, but it's a getaway. And I think she has learned strategies to kind of complement that or create that space. And her style is, it's gonna look like awesome, but you don't realize how it's gonna make you feel. And I think everybody wants to feel peace. You know, I think that's a desire. Nobody wants to feel stressed, right? So being able to implement a feeling into a design, I think is a whole nother level. And I think that's where she separates herself.
Well, guys, that's we're gonna wrap it up. That was it, and we're super stoked. Just thankful for you guys listening in, and super stoked that Tiff got to sit in today.
Thank you, my love.
Interesting.
Throwing some design gems here and there. But yeah, guys, every Wednesdays we release our podcast and video podcast on YouTube at 6 a.m. I believe.
6 a.m. bright
Every
and early.
Wednesday.
Reason is because if you're on your way to work, you start at 7 a.m. You got a good 30 minutes to tune in.
Yeah, we thought this out, guys. Well, guys, once again, we appreciate you guys. If you guys have any questions, just message us, send us a comment.
If you guys have a question concerning faith, business, or construction, please leave a comment. We'd love to take that question, make it part of the podcast, answer them, better educate, edify, and continue to share whatever we have that we can share with you guys. So
Yeah, right on, guys. Thank you
guys
so much.
for having me.
Yeah, of course. So next Wednesday.
Yep, next Wednesday. Let's do it.
Shoots.
I come from a poor family, yeah,